Thank you very much. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. Today, we are announcing the results of a Toronto Police investigation that has led to the largest seizure of counterfeit soccer jersey in Canadian history. With the FIFA World Cup less than 2 weeks away, the Toronto Police Service is proactively targeting crimes that tend to spike during major sporting events, including the sale of fraudulent merchandise. Today, I can announce that as part of this investigation, our officers seized thousands of knockoff sports merchandise, some you see here, including jerseys and flags, and made 2 arrests for fraud over $5,000 and several other charges. The items you're looking at today represent only a small portion of what our officers seized, the total of which exceeded $3.5 million. This was a large-scale operation designed to exploit fans and take advantage of their love for sports. I want to recognize the outstanding work of our members, particularly the Toronto Police Service's FIFA Planning Team Investigative Unit and the Public Safety Response Team. Their strong partnerships, fast response, and commitment to stopping this fraudulent activity were critical to the success of this historic seizure. I also want to thank Lipkiss Law, a member of the Canadian Anti-Counterfeiting Network, who supported this investigation and played an important role in this accomplishment. This seizure is a reminder to fans: be vigilant. Take a closer look before purchasing merchandise to support your favorite team. If a deal seems too good to be true, it likely is. I'll now turn it over to Superintendent David Ecklund, who will walk you through the investigation in more detail.
Thank you, Deputy. On May 12th, Lipkiss Law notified law enforcement of a suspected warehouse containing what they believe to be illegal goods, prompting the launch of this investigation. 2 weeks later, on May 26th, investigators executed 4 criminal code search warrants at a warehouse in Mississauga, operating under the name Amana Trading Company. What you see displayed before me is a fraction of the thousands of counterfeit items seized at that warehouse. We seized more than 16,000 name-brand fake jerseys and flags, along with 2 counterfeit FIFA World Cup trophies with an estimated street value of more than $3.5 million. 2 men, Rami Jabber, 41, of Milton, Ontario, and Waleed Sarhan, 62, of Mississauga, were arrested on a number of charges, including fraud over $5,000 and possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000. Given the size of this seizure, we believe the 2 men were running the scam for some time. They operated as a distributor under the name Amana Trading Company, selling to retail stores. I want to thank the TPS FIFA Planning Team Investigative Unit, led by Detective Patrick Costello, and members of the Public Safety Response Team for their great work on this historic seizure of fraudulent items. This investigation involved close coordination with Lipkiss Law, whose support was instrumental in helping us identify and stop this activity before many innocent people became victims of this crime. Counterfeit merchandise is a known concern during major sporting events, including the FIFA World Cup. For criminals, it's a crime of opportunity because they know people want to support their favorite team and will prey on that excitement. Often, proceeds of this crime fuels organized crime, including human trafficking. We want people to feel confident they're buying authentic products and not scammed by cheap fakes. As the deputy said, if it feels too good to be true, it probably is. So always check what you're buying and who you're buying it from to ensure it's an authorized seller. If you believe you've been a victim of a fraud, we encourage you to report it to the police. Thank you, and I'll now turn it over to Mr. David Lipkiss.
I want to start by expressing thanks to the Toronto Police Service FIFA Planning Team Investigative Unit, along with the team of investigators at Backlit Resource Group and Whalen Investigative Consulting, lawyers, and support staff that assisted with this matter. This seizure is the direct result of flawless execution by Toronto Police Service, resulting in the largest known seizure of counterfeit soccer jerseys in Canadian history. Counterfeiting activity directly undercuts honest, hardworking, and legitimate Canadian businesses that pay taxes, hire locally, and play by the rules. Everyone is excited that Canada is co-hosting FIFA World Cup games, but bad actors are trying to weaponize this incredible fan passion for illicit financial gain. In Canada, there are numerous steps you can take to avoid buying counterfeit goods. If you're shopping online at third-party marketplaces or through social media, then start by looking at the price. A premium brand at a bargain basement price isn't a discount. It's a red flag. Visit the brand's website to educate yourself on where to buy locally. Look for spelling and grammar mistakes on all interior and exterior care and content tags and labeling. Brands are proud of their products and provide consumers with information about who they are and how to contact them. If you unknowingly purchase counterfeit goods, then I urge you to contact the police and the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. Counterfeiting isn't a victimless crime. It funds illicit networks and compromises your safety. Choose authenticity, shop smart, and let's keep our communities safe. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We'll now take some questions.
Do you know how much a jersey, a real jersey, is with a name and number on it? It's like almost $300. And a lot of people are looking to support multiple countries. And to do that, it costs $500, $750. You say that they're victims. I think people are looking for a deal because a lot of times when it's priced out of this World Cup already, and they just want to support the teams. And you're saying they're victims. I think they're looking for this.
Well, we're talking about the people who legitimately come to a match that legitimately want to buy something that is actually legitimate. They're paying full price, and they're not getting what they expect for full price. So
They're paying $300, but they're getting it.
that's correct. Yeah.
So they're not there on marketplace looking for $50 to get it.
That's correct. Yes.
So these are fake fanatics websites.
Right. They're being sold to retail stores. So folks are walking into retail stores thinking that they're buying an authentic piece of, say, a jersey or sporting equipment. They're paying full price as they would if it was authentic, but they're getting a fake counterfeit.
You have the warehouse, you busted the warehouse, and that's where all this came from my understanding. But did a lot of the flow into the stores already? It's not a retail outlet in Toronto.
Right, so that is part of our ongoing investigation. So we're asking that if anybody feels that they were scammed or a victim of this type of a crime, to contact the police.
Are retailers realizing some kind of savings? I mean, are they buying, if the consumer is buying it at full price thinking it's real, is it the retailer that's putting it in stores think it's real?
That's a great question. So all forms part of the ongoing investigation.
Were FIFA peers or any representatives involved in this investigation?
Yeah, we see it during major sporting events. If you think World Series and other things that are happening in the city, even concerts, you see an increase in counterfeit merchandise.
Determine where these products will go invested.
That's part of the investigation, but I can say that it's they're coming from overseas.
You talked about spelling mistakes, other potential issues as a way to identify. Can you talk about these seizures? How good are they as fakes? Are they identifiable to the average consumer?
We'll actually have Mr. Lipkus answer that one.
Yes, there are items that are identifiable. There are spelling mistakes on some of these tags. If you look and feel the products, it doesn't have the same quality. I will tell you that there are retailers that do not know they are purchasing these counterfeit goods and selling them to the public. The reality is you have to remain vigilant both as a retailer and as a customer. Customers don't want to buy these low-quality products. They don't operate the same way. They haven't been tested for safety. The materials on them can harm the consumer. This is not something that the public in Toronto or in Canada should want to support in any way.
How did this come to the attention of your law firm? So good question.
There are many ways that matters are brought to my law firm's attention, including through customer complaints, by example, from investigators out in the marketplace making purchases, and a variety of places online and elsewhere. So I can't comment specifically on this investigation.
Do you have a client that you're representing that
Yes.
If I can just
maybe add some,
Question was brought up around some consumers are actually looking for a deal. Like, life's expensive. These things are, the real jersey are expensive. And outside the fact that folks are trying to buy legitimate items and getting scammed, the other pieces that we can't forget, and it's easy when you're trying to save money and you forget the message, but what this does is it directly fuels organized crime and human trafficking, things like that that we're struggling with. So that dollar, being spent maybe unknowingly causes real harm. So the consumer has to remember that there is a trade-off for saving money at the front end, which might create a victim at the back end.
To follow up to that, a lot of times these kinds of products are sold directly on the street. People set up tables. It's very common in Toronto, New York, around the world. During the FIFA period, is the Toronto Police Department going to be actively monitoring, making arrests, that sort of thing, as an extension of what you supposed to do?
so Sean, I can tell you, I
I don't think we're going to be actively doing that, but it's a human resource issue. It is a criminal offense, and so we are obviously concerned with that, and we will act if there are reports of such activity.
Can you tell me how many businesses have been taken by these?
No idea, but I'm assured that that'll be part of the investigation, and if we're able to identify the distribution network, we will make that known. Sorry? I have no idea. I'm not really sure. I don't know if you can answer that.
Yes, sellers do often comply with cease and desist letters when they are put on warning. Obviously, it's a case-by-case basis, so it depends on the specific retailer, but generally, we do receive cooperation. Question. So if you unknowingly purchase counterfeit goods, then you absolutely should contact the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre can assist you with processing a chargeback as it relates to the sale of those goods. So if you paid using Visa or MasterCard or PayPal, a lot of those intermediaries have policies to ensure that fraudulent goods are not purchased by unsuspecting consumers. So please do your diligence and process those chargebacks through the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre.
Yeah, that's, it was a Mana Trading Company, is a legitimate business from my understanding, and it will continue to be part of the ongoing investigation.
Reuters recently reported that Argentinian national jerseys had flooded the market, estimating that 70% of those being sold, especially on the street, are fakes. Do you have any kind of sense of how many fakes are out there? If you were to go to the World Cup, one of the matches coming up, how many jerseys in the stands would be fake?
Take it. So I can tell you I've attended a lot of different sporting events, and believe it or not, with my own eyes, I can look at some of the quality on the lettering and tell that about half of those jerseys in that stadium is fake. Obviously, it depends on the specific event. There are low-cost alternatives to buying jerseys. No one's asking the public to spend the highest-end version of a jersey and buying that item. You can buy legitimate jerseys from the legitimate brands at a lesser price. That's available to all consumers. From a Canadian perspective, the OECD, the Organization of Economic and Cooperative Development, has stated that there are billions of dollars of counterfeit goods available globally. Canada is included in that. There's no study, to my knowledge, that exists that says, here's how big the problem is in Canada. But the reality is we're no different than any other country that is dealing with these issues on a global scale.
Is there anything that you can point out to us on the merchandise of the country? I can't
Comment on the merchandise in front of us, unfortunately.
I noticed
Can you repeat that? I'm having trouble hearing you.
what happened to the jerseys that you seized.
So at the conclusion of any court case, we'll apply for an order of disposition to have the items disposed of whatever the court decides that could be destroyed.
Any more questions?
I just wanted to ask a question about CBSA is not involved in this, so this stuff obviously got into the country without being detected, so nobody figured it out there. You think that there are other ones sitting in warehouses right now just like this?
I'll answer that. CBSA is doing a great job at detaining counterfeit goods that are entering our marketplace. The reality is CBSA needs additional funding to help prioritize this issue. Counterfeit goods are affecting us all, and I don't know what percentage of shipments are looked at by CBSA before they arrive, but there unfortunately are times where the goods do enter our marketplace. But I will tell you that the CBSA officers are working on these matters and are working very hard to stop these goods from entering our marketplace.
Were there any arrests made?
Yes, there were 2 arrests made. 2 men, Rami Jabbar, 41, of Milton, Ontario, and Waleed Sarhan, 62, of Mississauga, were arrested and charged with fraud-related offenses.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes our press conference for today.